There aren't many people out there that are crazy enough to dive into Love Never Dies and know so much about it. Well, this is a review starring two of those people. Hello Facebookers and video watchers, and most importantly, Phantom fans, because honestly, if you actually read the title of this video, you're probably the only types of people watching this. So anyway, really quick, I want to introduce myself. My name is Aaron, and I guess I'm an amateur reviewer now. What happened was, a few weeks ago, actually a few months ago, I did a review for a movie called Erik Portrait of a Living Corpse. And real quick plug-in, if you have not seen this movie, you need to, because it is good and I enjoyed it. And a lot of my other Phantom fans and friends enjoyed it too. So the link to the review is down below in the description box, and if you want to check that out, please do. So, plug-in done. But anyway, I did a review for this movie, and to my surprise, it got a lot of really positive comments, and I got a lot of really good feedback. And suddenly, I had people actually message me and comment, and they were asking me to do a review for another little musical. And honestly, I was kind of surprised they wanted me to do this review for this certain show, because this show, I'm willing to say, is one of the most controversial in the past decade. I mean, there is so much debate surrounding this show. People either really, really love it, or they really, really hate it. So I decided to gather my guts and tackle the show, because I have seen it. And honestly, I think as artists, we should not shy away from talking about difficult topics and difficult things. And I think this show does need to be discussed. So guys, we need to talk about this. That's right, we are reviewing Love Never Dies today. And to help me with this show is a good friend of mine. I met her through the Erik boards. And she actually saw the show in London when it was being performed live. And she happens to know a little bit more about the show than I do. So I'm actually bringing her on board to help me review this. So right now I would like to introduce my fellow Phantom fan, Kaitlyn.
Hi, I'm Kaitlyn. I have seen it in London. I saw it twice in London. I saw it after the changes were made, though. When they first released it, it was the first time they released it. I want to call it the Phantom fans' worst nightmare. That's what it was released as, because there were so many problems with it that any average Phantom fan would have been able to point out. But I saw it with all the changes they made to it. When they made it resembled the, not visually, but it plot-wise and the way it flowed, it resembled the Australian version a lot better. So I saw it with all the changes made, which I think is a really good thing, because I walked into the theater not thinking I was going to like it. I had to see it. I was in London. It's Love Never Dies, and I knew it was closing soon, so I had to see it. I went in not expecting to like it as much as I did. So I feel like I'm familiar with the show.
Alright, so now that the proper introductions have been made, let's start the review. Let's talk about Meg and Madame Jury as characters.
The first thing I want to talk about is the character development and evolution of the characters Madame and Meg Jury. The only thing I have to say about them really is they begin in the original musical as basically filler characters that move the plot along and inform the audience of what's happening. Like, the first time you really see Meg, she's screaming about the Phantom. She's letting the audience know, hey, that's the Phantom. The second thing is she's singing Angel of Music with Christine, and she's letting everybody know what's going on with Christine. Like, through their conversation, you're getting to know what's going on. Madame Jury, she also, if you know, all of you probably know the musical. She just tells everybody, hey, this is a bad idea. Basically took two fuller characters, two characters that are just moving it along, keeping it moving, informing the audience of what's happening. And you basically tried to make people out of them in Love Never Dies. And, which they did. Don't get me wrong. Madame Jury, I don't like in Love Never Dies. Meg Jury, I think she's an amazing character. She has all of this beautiful motivation. She's such a tragic character. She is so desperate for companionship. And she's not in love with the Phantom. She just really wants someone else there for her. She gets so excited when Christine's coming back. She's like, we'll be friends again. I'll have someone. I won't be lonely anymore. She's this beautiful character. She has the most amazing downward, like, mental breakdown spiral out of control. It's wonderful. I love this character. But where the hell is this character in the original musical? She's not there. She's not a character. The only thing in common is that they're both blonde and they have the same name. And that's all that's the same about them. And Madame Jury all of a sudden has all of this, like, anger with Christine Daae over she betrayed him, she left him for Raoul, and I'm like, yeah, she abducted him. You're the one who told Raoul to go where to find her. And if you want to talk about betrayal to the Phantom, who really betrayed the Phantom? You told Raoul where to go find him. You revealed his hiding place or cave or whatever he lived in. So she has all of this anger that I don't believe she has the right to, and I don't believe that she has the, I don't know why she's all of a sudden an antagonist. Like, she tells her daughter who's suffering, really, really suffering, to just basically, oh, you hoard yourself out for nothing, I'm sorry. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't think that they would become those characters. If it was a standalone piece, I would love Meg Jury's character. I would really not understand Madame Jury's character still. But that's my main problem with the original musical and Love Never Dies. I mean, there's a big thing about the Phantom and Christine I really don't like, but the Madame Jury, the Jury characters, I really have a problem with. So I don't believe that character could turn into Madame Jury, and I don't understand Madame Jury's problem in Love Never Dies. I don't think she's a very good character. Meg Jury is a fantastic character. Madame Jury totally sucks. And she's boring to watch. You get angry at her, and you kind of wish that she got shot at the end instead of Christine.
Honestly, I kind of disagree. Not with the Madame Jury thing. The Madame Jury thing, I never thought her character made any sense. In the musical, you're right, she is made less of a deal than in the movie version. I know we aren't going to touch upon the movie version too much, but I mean, she's just not a big deal, and it's hard for me to believe that such a minor character would evolve into this, crazy, over-the-top woman that would be willing to whore out her daughter for political allies and money. So that's kind of weird for me. So yeah, I'm down with you on that. But honestly, with the Meg Jury character, I get it. In the beginning of the musical, in the first musical, we do see that she is a companion to Christine, and we also kind of see her stronger side as the musical goes on. Near the end of the musical, Meg Jury actually wants to go with Madame Jury down to the lair to help Raoul. And I think that's a little glimpse that we see into her stronger personality. And I always thought Meg Jury, to me, I thought she was always someone like, oh wow, we could expand on this character. And I honestly think they did a beautiful job in it in Love Never Dies. Also, you have to realize, I know there's some character things about her that are really hard to believe, But think about it. This poor girl who was almost a child at the time did these horrible, awful, immoral things with men for the sake of money and to get this, to get the Phantom power. And she grew to have a relationship, some kind of odd relationship with him at the time, like a mentor kind of thing that I guess turned into love. So I see it. Like, I see how she could become the character she is today, from the first musical to Love Never Dies. So, all in all, the Meg Giry character, I completely buy. Madame Giry, not so much. And now for the character assessment you've all been waiting for. The Phantom. I think from the mask, you guys can all tell what we're going to talk about next. Let's talk about the Phantom's character. Personally, I kind of buy it. Okay, here's the thing. I watched a few interviews with Andrew Lloyd Webber talking about the Phantom character, and he says that the Phantom character, it's been 10 years, he's supposed to be a little bit mellow, and a lot of people have said, are you kidding? He's not mellow at all. He's still crazy as all get out. And honestly, he makes a lot of threats in Love Never Dies. He makes a threat toward Gustav's character, saying that he will kidnap him if Christine doesn't do what he says. He, threatens Raoul. He threatens Christine. Like, he is throwing threats left and right, and it is ridiculous. But notice this. He does not act on any of his threats. None. And also, when he finds out, spoiler alert, that Gustav is Christine's son, all the malice leaves him. Like, he says to Christine, even though Gustav rejected him after the Beauty and Denise scene, he says to Christine that Gustav will inherit everything. That Gustav has his love, can have his fortune, can have all that. So, yes, I know this may sound really lame, but the Phantom character, I do buy. Also, everyone's saying, I can't believe they still love Christine after all this time, blah, blah, blah. I can kind of see that, too. I mean, this is the one woman he loved, and another spoiler alert, they did sleep together. So, a first kind of, I don't want to be too crude here, a first sexual experience like that can bond someone to somebody else. I mean, biologically it happens. And with Christine being his first, I mean, that can kind of cement the obsessive mindset even more in him. So all in all, the Phantom character, I like it, I buy it, and as a final 2 cents of mine, Ben Lewis rocks.
I don't like the character of the Phantom in Love Never Dies, only in that I don't like him compared to what he was supposed to be in the original the original musical. In the original musical, I just don't buy that character is the same Phantom as the Love Never Dies. Now, I like him as a standalone character. I like him as this is their own little version of it. If it had nothing to do with the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, I would probably really like it, but I just don't believe that it's the same Phantom. I am angry that Love Never Dies keeps making people forget how violent this character is. He kills people in the original musical. He kills a lot of people. He kills Joseph Piquet, Piangi, and then the unknown amount of people who died from the chandelier crash. In the original novel, it was only one person. It was a woman. But you know what I mean? Like, he's a violent character. You just kind of forget how violent he is and how dangerous Christine is in danger. I mean, he never threatens her directly, but he threatens her kid, which I never believed that he would be serious about it. I really don't. I think he knew Christine would cave. So I just don't believe that it's the same violent character. So you're rooting for him the whole time in Love Never Dies. You forget about the whole point why he needed to be redeemed. He needed to be redeemed because he kept killing people and he was dangerous. So
you never forget why he made the sacrifice in the first place, why it was such a big deal that he gave Christine up and committed to his own loneliness. It's because he didn't care about anyone else in the original musical. Anyone could have died. As long as, if he would have felt like they would have gotten out of his way, he would have absolutely done away with them and sent a message. And I just don't see the same violent character that I do in Love Never Dies. Not only do I not see that, I wasn't really wanting to see it. So where was he in Love Never Dies? He's such a cool character, especially opposed to this all of a sudden fallen Raoul who's now a drunk. So other than you forget about why he redeemed himself. The whole point of his redemption is thrown out the window. The whole point that he even redeemed himself a little bit by giving up Christine is just kind of forgotten about. It doesn't exist anymore. And you don't see him. He's not a solitary character anymore. He has this giant theme park with millions of people that come to visit it daily, and he has Madame and Mcgillin where there's an implied interaction with them, and he has the awesome trio of Miss Fleck and Mr. Squelch. I mean, you have Dr. Gangle, you have these three, they call him Master, so he obviously has fairly, it's common interactions between these characters, so he's not alone anymore. He could reach out and talk to people if he wanted to, which is completely against the whole point of the Phantom's whole problem in the original musical. Leave me, save me from my solitude is not an issue anymore in Love Never Dies. He's just hung up on this one girl. Mcgillin would fall at his feet at any second in this musical, but he chooses not to. So I don't see it. I don't see it's the same character. I like them separately from each other. When you try to put them together, I don't like it.
Alright everyone, so that was the entirety of part 1. And next time on part 2, we're going to be talking about Ral, Christine, and some other miscellaneous stuff that we found interesting. From Kaitlyn and I, we both say thank you so much for watching, and in the famous words of the Phantom Reviewer, bye for now.